We facilitated ours during lockdown, so we met over Zoom. That has its advantages. We could exercise breakout rooms fairly easily, which gave smaller groups enough time to interact. I think if you were doing that in person, you really need to allow for time for people to move around the church and not be overheard in those groups. We operated a group that knew one another very well. They were already a discipleship group that know and trust one another. So you need to make sure that trust is held. And so if you're going to break out into smaller groups, to keep those groups and make sure they're only sharing outside of that interplenary if they want to. Timing is key. We found always that we wanted more time. We would run a session of about an hour and a half with the video and the questions. We'd get to the end of the questions always wanting to explore more, but not having the time or the energy really, because it's quite emotive, quite emotional, to get through it all. We got around that with a WhatsApp group. Our discipleship group is familiar with communicating via WhatsApp to arrange most things, and so we had an LLF group. If we noticed things in the news or topics of conversation came up or things inspired us, we would share that and keep the conversation going throughout the week. So that way it became something so much more than just an evening meeting. It began to permeate everything we did. The whole series comes with leaders' notes. So we would share those, not in their entirety, but certainly the questions and the Bible passages and the topics, one of the 5 topics, to the entire group in advance. We knew after the first session that time is precious and people need time to reflect and time to share. And if you have a group of reflectors, it's really worth sharing that information in advance so that people have got time to think. And bearing in mind some of the topics are really emotional and can really touch people either directly in their own lives or they'll be affecting someone they know and love. So having that time to reflect, come to terms with your own emotions, unpack it a bit before you're presented with a question in a meeting. Having that time is key.
So overall a positive experience?
Yeah, definitely. It led us into a breadth of conversation and it led our benefice into a new way of, not a newer way of thinking, a clearer way of thinking. We realised that our opinion had been pretty much broadly held and we were in agreement of where we should go, but it had never been explicitly said. So we're trying to be much more intentional about the direction we're going now.
Thank you. So would you recommend living in love and faith?
Yes, absolutely. I will stay involved in living in love and faith myself, and I'm going to stay involved with the project. So yeah, absolutely I'd recommend it. Our benefice has already recommended it, I think earlier on in the year with a piece with the Diocese. Absolutely, go for it.
Thank you.